I also take full responsibility of this mistake.
I just don't like it, man. Ready to take any comments saying, man, he really did do it, didn't he?
Just don't be like us.
Hold on, oh my gosh. Wow, okay.
Welcome back. If you had watched our video about what has broke in the past 3 years of full-time RVing, we had discussed this water heater. And today we're gonna give you the full rundown and
fix it once for all.
Once and for all. So I also take full responsibility of this mistake. Anyway.
I wasn't there to see what was happening, so
yeah, but that was also,
it's all good though.
Yeah, I think with
I was working and we needed hot water. We needed to get it fixed.
Yeah.
And so this was our thing.
Kind of in between.
Paying someone to do it. So we found a local RV tech to come and replace our water heater. We'll see if the leak could be repaired and help us find it. The porcelain tank on the original had been
cracked or something. Yeah.
We opted to go ahead and get it replaced, and he said, "Well, why don't we go with the tankless?" I said, "Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind going with the tankless. That would be better." He purchased a tankless water heater, and here's the original door and frame that came with it. Here is. See if I can shine a light so y'all can see. Yeah. Here is what he put in. He put in more of a residential type of, and it's electric only, and it's 50 amps. So you have to be hooked up to a 50 amp, which is our camper is a 50 amp, but it only pulls about 34 to 36 amp. Which is quite a bit. You really can't run anything else in it. So he put this breaker on, this breaker box, because our breaker box is, see, there's a breaker box right there if y'all can see. And he ran this cord all the way underneath the camper, all the way to the back plug, because that was where he had to plug into it in order to get 50 amp power to. Because the breaker, the actual breaker, oops, sorry, bright light. The actual breaker for the camper is in our bathroom, our toilet closet. I'm so glad that he didn't do anything with that. Yeah. Oh my goodness, thank goodness. That would have been bad. So he did cut a couple 110 wires that I'm gonna install back with some wall outlet plugs so we can utilize those, which we will never really use them anyway. But now we've had this water heater for probably 1.5 years. Yeah. So it's still usable. It's worked great. It really has worked great, but this is not what I recommend. This is not this is a shade tree sketchy. Yeah. Because you can't, like Chase said, you can't run everything. So like if the ACs are on, you can't really run the water heater because the breaker will flip on and off. So we're gonna come over here and we're gonna figure out what we can do. Also, please subscribe. Yes. All the power's off. Yeah. Battery's disconnected. Because we were hooked up at one RV park to a 30 amp. And guess what? Couldn't use the hot water. Use the water heater. Because we needed 50 amp. And we plan on doing more boondocking this summer. If you've watched any of our summer videos, we have to be very flexible with Chase's work. If you're new, welcome. Chase is a full-time welder. And we travel in the fall, in the spring, and yeah, so we got to get that off. And where'd he go? Chase. There you go. Sorry to get told. So this water heater, we're gonna fix it once and for all. I like doing stuff by the book. I don't like trying to do anything out of the normal. We really can't boondock with the water heater that we have because it just pulls so much electricity, and it would have to be electric only. Man, he really did do it, didn't he? I think this is all it was, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah. That looks like it right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if this is a twist or what this is. So you can see this is the water heater power line, because it had to connect to here because you couldn't wire it to the toilet closet where the actual breaker is. So he had to get power from here. Stuff is nerve-wracking because you don't want to take off stuff that you just that broke loose. Oh, nice. I'm hoping this will here, and I can just slide this down over here. That's what I'm hoping, and then I can access everything and just keep the video going so I can. Yeah, there you go. I know sometimes with these videos of us like redoing stuff or replacing things, we don't show exactly like step by step because we are literally learning how to do this. Yeah. And sometimes we just need to like put the camera down and figure out how to do these things. So there are 2 screws that Chase just undid that were in here. You can kind of see there and there. And it was able to slip this off and then expose all the wires. So we're gonna have to take these off to expose them again, and then I'm just gonna do one at a time. Yeah. Any of these videos that we do when it comes to like replacing stuff, granted I know everyone's camper is gonna be different, but if you have any questions, please message us, leave a comment or whatever. We'll be able to help y'all out if there's something that we did not show you, because that way
Yeah.
So we got the
water heater wiring out. So after we took this off, we unscrewed this, which just, you know, flips up. Just makes it a little bit easier.
Which we'll go ahead and put that back on. It made it much easier to get the wire because you got it,
So you want to unscrew these, and then we pulled
red, black, ground, and a white, or whatever that copper.
And they were all in with the bigger red, black, white, and copper. So they were all in with the bigger ones, if that makes sense. So we had to unscrew it, take the smaller one, which is the water heater, out. And now we're gonna put it back together.
I believe it's just these.
Which is a good segue into not all residential stuff is made for camper stuff. Not all camper stuff is made the same. Depending on what camper you have, just do your due diligence. The one that we ordered is a Furrion.
Yes.
I'll put a link to the one that we ordered. Like I said, make sure you do the measurements and all that stuff before you order them. We'll explain that at the end.
Yeah.
When it comes to camper stuff, y'all, learn from us, obviously, but also do your own research, because just don't be like us. Thankfully, it could have been a lot more money, but at the same time, it's still, like we said, the water heater is fine, it's still usable, but we have to have 50 amp, and we want to start boondocking.
The new water heater will be 12 volt powered to ignite it or whatever, and then the propane will run it. So I guess 12 volt ignition, ignited ignition, and then.
So this will be much better. We'll take you along how we're doing this, because that way, just don't do what we do. I think it looks great, babe. Obviously, I'll show you, but Chase is going to have to feed that wire all the way back. I mean, I'll help you, but feed that wire all the way back to.
We'll go ahead and go ahead and finish this up real quick.
But we'll put this back together. It kind of feels very nice to have that disconnected from the main.
Yeah, it really does.
Because that was just.
Now, if this new water heater that I installed doesn't mess up, or I mess it up, or it just doesn't work out, hey, at least I feel better about what I've done, because.
Well, I will say this: the original water heater went out, I think, what, 3 years ago or something, and we replaced it with the original one that came in it, like a new one, but it was the same for same replacement, and we did that ourselves. That was pretty easy.
Oh yeah. These things are really easy to do.
It wasn't that bad. And then, like Chase said, when it broke again, the one that we put in, it worked for a while, the one we put in, but then it cracked. And then, like we said, with Chase working and stuff, it was just easier to hire someone to do it. But that's why we're in this situation. But yeah, so you can see Chase is putting the rods back in.
You can zoom in.
See,
Zoom in and see.
They're pretty long. Honestly, with these campers, I feel like if you just take a step back, look at everything, it's just a big puzzle.
Don't get in a rush.
Yeah. Obviously, we'll share what parts we bought. Anything that we do when it comes to camper stuff like this, we'll try to have a list of stuff that we bought for it. Maybe that will help you if you have to replace it. Like I said, some campers are going to be different with stuff, just so y'all have an idea of what we do, how we go about fixing stuff. If you have any questions, please leave them below, because we want to be able to help y'all as much as we can.
Well, we want to get better about having a material list, and we also want to at least talk about maybe the finished product or
what we did to help y'all.
And if you have any questions, please, drop us a comment below.
Yeah, we are on Instagram, and we do the Facebook thing. And then message us down there. I do check the messages on that.
I feel so much better already.
I'm happy for you.
Even if we don't even have a water heater. That was just, I'm learning about this electrical stuff and everything, and because I'm eager to learn how it all works and everything, but I really thought that was just very dangerous, very not safe, personally. It's embarrassing that we're having to do this and what's happened to us, but hey, I am ready to take any comments saying, hey, that could have been ended badly, fire, whatever. We're glad you're safe. We're glad you're fixing it the correct way. Yeah. So I'm just so glad to get this out of here. So
but anyway, I think this goes, but I think this goes to show too, just like there are some really good RV techs out there. There are some great ones. You need to have discernment on whether you feel comfortable or not with them. If they're doing things that you just don't feel right about, like obviously this, I should have said no, and this is why we are in this predicament.
So as Bryce said, go ahead.
Yeah, so you're gonna pull this through.
I'm gonna pull this through here. Is that it?
Yeah, you got it.
Golly, you put a lot of excess in there.
Yeah, you did. All right, so Chase took all the wires out from underneath, pulled them through.
Yeah, everything's unplugged. I'm just taking out the last final little
So now you're taking the breaker box out.
Yeah.
All right.
There's that rigmarole mess right there. I just don't like it, man. I just don't like it. That's just me. The red one looks discolored, you know what I mean? It's just, that's one thing I just wish people would know. If you're unsure, even if it's a tech or whatever it is, If you're unsure, just stop, man, because that's the last thing you want to do is, 'cause I bet you the guy that we hired to do this did not have any insurance or anything. Y'all, it's done.
We've learned a valuable lesson. I think just this goes to show that, like,
You can do anything.
You can really do anything you put your mind to. I mean, I know some people physically are not able to work on their campers. I understand that. We both understand that. For us, since we are physically able to, we're gonna try to do as much as we can ourselves.
All right, y'all, moment of truth. This is it. Man, thank goodness, this is so good. Getting this out of here, baby. All right, y'all. Water. Don't ever let anyone do this to you guys. Don't. This is just. Don't let it happen.
Yeah. Also, make sure you're not hooked up to water. Everything's drained, which we did.
Yeah.
But there's still always gonna be
There's gonna be a little bit of residual.
Residual.
There you go.
Yeah. But there it is. We wanted to test to make sure that we're taking that back power thing off and putting it back in, that nothing changed with the breaker and stuff. So we're all good. So it's been a few days.
Yes, it's been I wouldn't say challenging, but just trying to figure out what we need. When you order a Furrion tankless RV water heater, it's going to give you 3 options to choose from for the correct door size and frame that you need, okay? The tank itself, like what you're seeing right here, this is all one size, okay? It is what it is. This is the size that they make them. Now, this is from our existing water heater originally from the manufacturer, okay? It is like an 18 by 18, all right? The door that came with the water heater, like I said, I could have chose the correct one, but I just did the door like I thought it said to do, which I could have misread that. I'll have to go back and check. But Bryce has ordered us a new door and frame for the outside, just this part basically, for the Furrion water heater. So what I did was I took the old frame off right here and door and measured, and I got 18 by 18, and Furrion has a 18 by 18 frame and door, so that's what we've ordered, and it's going to be here tomorrow so I can put it in. And
but what did you do at first that you thought was correct?
At first I thought was correct was, I'm just using this as a reference, this is the old one, okay? But I just measured, it said just measure the door, so I figured door, this would be the door, so I just measured just the door itself, which is this, not the frame with it, and it was way too short. There was a big gap on each side, so I was like, oh, that ain't gonna cut it. So I had Bryce order the correct one off of e-trailer, just much easier than Amazon. For now, the next step is to, as you can see here, the tank is just sitting on our floor inside the camper where the water heater goes. I need it to come up, so I've purchased a couple 2x4s. I'm gonna build a little frame for it to sit on. And also here, you can see, this is gonna need to come. I'm about to cut this propane line and reflare it and install it, because everything's gonna be in the back side. Where before, the original water heater, the propane line came all the way up to the front here, about right here. So, but as you can see here, there's a big gap here. So what I'm about to do is, I got the 2x4s. I'm gonna build a wood frame here so that the water heater can kind of sit in, and then I can drill the corners or the sides into the wood, so it'll hold itself up, and the base will keep it level. And then the frame that'll be coming tomorrow, it will be mounted in from this side. That's all I have for now.
Yeah.
Bryce,
you want to show the inside?
Yeah, let's go show the inside.
So it's been a few days. We have just needed to brainstorm and kind of figure stuff out, because our camper is older, and watching these videos and stuff for how to put it in, the Furrion in, a lot of them are from like newer campers, and because our camper is older, we have to like maneuver stuff around. So that is why it has taken us a little bit longer.
I want to add to that. If you're replacing an existing Furrion water heater, then this is gonna be all the frame and everything built. What I'm doing, you won't have to worry about.
Yeah.
You won't have to worry about. You won't have to do what I'm doing, the step that I'm doing.
Our camper's a mess, but we're all friends here.
Open that door up, please,
Right.
Bryce. I don't know what the light is. I went ahead and cut this tea that was in here, water residual. Okay, so we have our outlet side, which is the hot side, and you have our inlet, which is the cold side, which is down here. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of what we're doing at the moment, and then once I start to install it, we'll get the camera back rolling so you can see exactly what I'm doing. The gentleman before us decided to cut this plug off for no reason at all, so I got to put another wall outlet onto this one, and this one right here is off because this one went to the original water heater and it's hooked to a 15 amp breaker inside the bathroom where our breaker panel, where our panel box is. This is the original water heater that came with the camper. This is the electric switch, 12 volt electric switch, and then this is the 12 volt propane switch. But this one has a higher output of a consistent 13.5 volts instead of 11.32 volts out of this electric one. So we're going to use the propane one because your Furrion tankless water heater, it's required to have a nothing less than 10 volts to 17 and nothing more than 17 volts. So 13.5 will be a better median than 11 point something. We'll come over here, I'll show you what the switch is. So your Furrion tankless water heater will come with a switch at the tank, and this is from the original camper here. I don't know if I could turn on some lights here maybe. This is the electric, I'm sorry, this is the propane 12 volt switch, and this is the electric 12 volt switch that came with our camper. We're gonna use the the propane switch. But that's all I got. With this unit being so much smaller, I had to build my own frame. I put a little note there for Bryce. I love Bryce. So I built this frame. It turned out nice. I didn't have a circular saw, but I used a sawzall to cut all this. So don't hound me. I built a base here for it, drilled it down, secured it, and now we are going to install the water heater. Next process is to get this is like roofer's tacky tape or whatever you want to call it, but this is really butyl tape, and we're going to take it and put it on these ears here so that it just kind of gives another little seal and secures to the wood frame that I've made. So we're going to just put that there and just kind of try not to cut my wife's finger off.
How'd you know you needed this?
I saw a guy on YouTube use it, and I've known about it for a long time. So. So I put another piece of butyl tape all the way around because my ears are long. Take some mineral spirits, clean up around your edging. Down here where the metal is, the paint's kind of chipped, but hey, this is an old camper. Just gently slide in our tank here, and then before we push it in, we just want to kind of make sure it's kind of leveled or kind of even on both sides, and then we're just going to just push in and just kind of press it all the way around. When you build your frame, make sure your frame is out enough where it's flush. Take you like a little speed square here, straight edge or whatever you want to use, a ruler, you can use a ruler too, and just make sure you're flush. So when you're changing out your filter here, and if you have any excess that comes out, if you look straight down, Bryce, you can see it's just going to drain out past the tire, or just onto the tire or what have you, or onto your trim piece here that I got to put back on after we get done installing it. You won't have anything getting into the wood. That's no good. Water on wood is no good. That's in.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this with a Sharpie here. Take it off with some mineral spirits. Okay, we need to find just some screws that'll just kind of fit. I've got this little glass jar. Also, I highly recommend pickle jar, mayonnaise jar, whatever type of glass jar. I usually like a couple razor blades in there. I mean, I got my screws that loose. If you put it in a plastic bag, it'll just end up poking through, and that's no fun.
Now these screws have just been from projects.
Yeah, just projects from the camper that we've deleted, taken out a lot of stuff in this camper, and so we have a lot of screws that we have from things that we take out. This water heater did not come with any hardware, any screws to mount the tank, much less the plumbing, obviously. Hold on, oh my gosh. Y'all, I did this wrong. Oh my gosh. It's alright. Jeez. Wow, okay. Man, I hate making mistakes, but you know what?
It's okay.
It's part of life. Man, now my screws, it's fine. It should still... Cannot believe that happened. See, the old water heater was different. So, y'all don't make the mistake that I just did. On the Furrion, this is the one we're installing. Put your frame up there, put the tank in, put the frame up there, drill the frame all in one time, all in one shot. Now, I just want to try the door. I want a truth. All right, y'all. Besides doing the 4 corners, which I'm about to do,
wow, it looks really good. That looks really good.
That is a complete install, which I don't even need the little Sharpie marks. It's gonna get covered up with caulking here in a minute.
Wow, it looks really good. Sorry it's dark, y'all. but
yeah, it's the install.
That's the install. We just got
from the outside.
From the outside.
Outside.
Chase is working on the propane line. So the original water heater that came with this camper, the propane line had to go to the very front of the water heater, and the propane going into this one is at the rear, and so we have a lot of extra line. So Chase is working on cutting it, flare it, all that stuff. All right, so Chase just cut part of the copper propane line. We bought this off of Amazon.
We're gonna put a better link to one below. You don't need all that other stuff.
Yeah. We didn't, we just didn't know.
We didn't know. It's fine.
This is why you learn from us, y'all. Chase just cut it with, where's that cutter at? There it is, right here. Chase just used this to cut the line, but you will need something if you're in our situation. There are some videos on how to flare lines and stuff, so that's how we learned, or Chase learned.
We've taken our existing propane line here. So what we did was we cut it off, and Bryce will show you right here, Bryce.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you show them right there with the flare. So you see a single flare. So we put, nope, that's the other side, or right there's fine. So we did a single flare on that one. Just that was our excess, and I just did a little practice run before I did the real line. Safely kind of bent over our line and hooked it up down here. And then our next point, and then we're gonna do the water inlet. I like to work from the ground up. So we did the propane first, then the next line will be the water inlet, which is this hose right here. And then will be the hot side, the out, which is right here, which will connect to this. But I'm gonna put a coupling right here, and then here we'll kind of figure out, you know, the T. Yeah, T, anyway.
No, we had to cut the T out because it wasn't going to, it was too high up from the original water heater. So we did have to cut the T out, and we're gonna move the T down.
So what I've done here, cut off a little more excess of this inlet water piping here, and I've got a metal 90 with a PEX crimp right here that I'm about to crimp. Then I'm gonna cut another piece off that'll go straight into the inlet side. So, yeah, if you don't have one of these kits, I highly recommend it, because anytime you're going from, well, at least with this older camper here, it's got plastic PEX fittings, but I recommend getting you this little PEX kit right here. It's called iCrimp, and we'll have the link below. This thing is just awesome. So anyway, so basically you just make sure it's on there correctly so you don't have no water line coming off. It's almost like, makes like a little ratchet. Hear that click? And then when it stops, that means it's good. So just kind of back it off all the way like that. And you can see it's got a perfect crimp right there on it. You can kind of see it. There's no need to measure from the distance from here to here, because this inlet hose, as you can see it got about 6 inches of travel you can play with, so it's not like you got to get it right on the money. So we're going to take this fitting here. So this is going to go on the tank side, and then I'm going to cut off a piece of pipe here. You're going to take this, and oh, actually first, well, it doesn't really matter because I have an open end, so basically, but let's just do it like you're going to do it. So if you're installing it hardline. Okay, this is going to go like that, okay? This is going to go right inside there like that. Did you get that, Chris? Like that. You're going to slide this over about right to there or so, and then crimp it down. Once it gets one click, then you can kind of grab it and then just take it and just, you'll see it kind of till it meets there. That's it.
Nice.
Now that's
really cool.
Not coming off. Now we'll install the other end. So take the clamp, put it on already. I recommend putting on this loose end first. Don't be tightening the female onto this male inlet, because there's no need to put any kind of pressure on. Slide that on, slide this over, about like so. I got it on?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, that's that. This has got a gasket or whatever already on it, so I'm not even going to worry about putting any type of Teflon. Unless I'm doing something wrong, please somebody comment below. Now, we're going to work on this outlet side. Alright everyone, it is completed. I didn't see the need to buy a red PEX line for the hot water side, but this is our inlet side, which is your cold water, and this is your outlet, which is your hot water side. We are complete.
Chase wired it up.
Yep, wired it up.
He put the panel right there. You can
Right
kind of see
there.
that black circle thing on the wall.
Only because I didn't feel like running extra wires, and when we get it set, we don't really adjust it. We just kind of deal with what we have.
But the first thing, when we first did it, there was a little bit of a leak coming
Yes.
from the inlet and outlet.
So we put some Teflon tape around it and it worked out great. I didn't think I needed to. Come find out you do. So
Yep.
we'll just keep an eye on that. But that is nice and tight. Everything is sealed up good.
But that is that. Like we said, we'll put a list of all the tools that we used. Like we mentioned, our camper is older and we did have to move some lines around, not a whole lot, but just move them a little bit. So I would just make sure you kind of check your situation because, you know, Chase had to build a frame where our lines were for the original water heater and we just had to move them and all that stuff. So you might not need to cut your propane line and flare it because it might be the perfect length.
We don't have one of those rubber propane lines. Rubber one might have the same or the right connection already on it, so you don't need to have a flare on it.
It is done. You can tell Chase is very, seems like a weight has been lifted because this water heater that we had, the old one, it was just a mess. So just because a house can use it does not mean your camper should use it. Hopefully it gives you all comfort that it's not that hard to work on your camper. And we do not have a background in any of this. And we've learned pretty much step by step. I mean, Chase bought a multimeter, learned how to read the wires and stuff. It is possible to work on your campers. If Chase and I can do it, you can do it. I hope this is a lesson too. Learn from us. This was probably, I wouldn't say the biggest RV mistake that we've made, but looking back, it was a mistake.
It wasn't a mistake, it was just more of
educational. That's the big takeaway from this, and hopefully from our channel, is that y'all can learn from us. We are big into trying it and just seeing if it works. Obviously do some research, but at the end of the day,
yes, you are going to fail. That's part of it. It is what it is.
Yeah. We're gonna button up. Thank you all so much. If you have any questions about the water heater, or if there's something that we didn't mention stepwise, I'll put it at the end of this clip like I did with the gray tank. We greatly appreciate every single one of y'all that watches our videos. If you've made it to the end, please subscribe. We would like to get to at least 1,000 subs by the end of the year, which I think is possible, but only if you subscribe. So please subscribe. That would be awesome. Kine, hey, tell our friends to subscribe. Enough said. All right, we'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all.
Oh, we're climbing. We're climbing.
Feel how hot it is.
Too hot? Oh, that's a little. Let me go down one.